you got wire? Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Please.
Thank you for giving us an opportunity to discuss this.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't agree with us.
Yes, ma'am.
And Congressman, I respect the fact that you have a family member that has special needs, and you will do anything you can to make sure that that person in your family is taken care of. I want to tell you my story about someone in my family who I care deeply about, who's falling through the cracks in our current system, and why I think having a public option is so important. Can I do that?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. That's why you've been invited in. Once again, I'm kind of
idiots don't shout her down.
There you go. Thank you. I'm okay.
Okay. 13 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with liver failure. He was told he needed a transplant to live. 9 months later, he received his transplant. Now, if my story stopped there, it was only about health care, it would be a wonderful story about how our country is admired around the world for the type of health care we can receive. However, my story is not about our health care. Unfortunately, my story is about health coverage, pre-existing conditions, and falling through the cracks in the system as it stands. My husband's a semiconductor engineer. He made 6 figures a year. We were as middle class as anybody wants to be. And last fall, when the economy collapsed, he lost his job. Now, we have the choice of staying on COBRA, and at the time, as you recall, COBRA at that time was $1,500 a month to keep our family insured.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. His insurance just for him, if I took myself and my 2 children off, was going to be over $600. The medicine to keep a liver transplant alive without insurance was going to cost me $700 a month. Now, unemployment was only $1,500 a month, and we still had rent and food and utilities and everything else. Now, when the new administration came in and the stimulus package came through, we were able to get for 9 months, insurance reduced. But at the end of those 9 months, we're back up to $1,500, and our unemployment is going to run out. There are no jobs to be had, especially jobs with insurance. The only people that are hiring now is contract labor. Contract labor, they're not required to insure. It's a loophole in the businesses. Now, without the medication, my husband is going to die. We've already lost our home. We had to sell our car. I've had to cut as many expenses as I can possibly cut in order to keep my husband alive. Alive. It isn't a matter of, people are saying, well, why don't you just go get Medicare? He doesn't qualify for Medicare. He's healthy. He's been post-transplant for almost 15 years. And he's 54 years old. He's not old enough. So we are in this black hole where, without the public option, all this bill does is say everybody has to be covered. There's no cost savings on anybody for the insurer. There's no incentive to make the insurance companies cover us at the same rate that anybody else gets. And all I'm asking for, I'm not asking anybody to take their insurance away from them. I'm just saying, I am an American citizen. I deserve the same amount of insurance.
Thank you. And I think you've spoken very well.
And I really would like to know why you are on this, please.
I'll tell you why I'm not on the bill. I'm not on the bill because people need to speak to the president when he goes around the country and to say, Mr. President, let's not do a $1,600 billion bill. Let's aim where the problem is. And let's help people and let's go. This president was told that in 13 days he spent more money than George Bush did in 2 wars for 7 years, Katrina and New York City with 9/11. who is going to be president has to be responsible for the national debt that is taking place, that is killing jobs in this country. And this president needs to hear from you and others so that he goes back and does something about the problem, not over everybody in here and ruining Medicare. Congress am trying to say I have open town hall meetings. I initiated the meeting with Eddie Bernice Johnson. I openly will say to anybody, including the president, Mr. President, listen to people. Go do something about the problem. Don't try and take over a government-run health care plan. I really do. It doesn't take a lot for me to figure out. I started my career working as a paper boy. I worked every day, never missed a day of work when I worked in the private sector, and I've got to work for a living now too. And I know all but for probably 5 genes that any of us have that are wrong, it could be us that would be there too. I do understand that. I'm not a mean, cold-hearted person, but the American public is also kind and generous, but don't pick on everybody. Go and solve the problem. So I would say that a group of people who were here from all the organizations need to go back and do a huddle with the president. And the president is a great salesman, but he is getting his clock cleaned because he's got and I'm very open to have a dialogue with anybody here. Please aim for the problem. I would love to have you say to the president, Mr. President, what we've tried to sell is not working. It's not. You just can't argue that case. But you still have needs, and we still have a problem, and Sessions agrees with that. Let's solve the problem. Thank you very much.